I mean, crucially, what it did was to produce a one-off lowering of tariffs. And then the next thing it did was to remove the requirement for the Americans to certify the Chinese as a most favored nation on an annual basis. So it enormously depoliticized the business of trade relationships between the United States and China. And then it established a rather laborious and largely ineffective mechanism for contesting cases between the Chinese and the Americans, which is one of the things that trade warriors like Lighthizer object to in the WTO, is that it doesn't provide, in their view, an effective mechanism for redress for the disputes that do arise. So WTO membership, if you like, opened the door. It then held that door open, and it made it very difficult for anyone to use its mechanisms to slow down the flood of Chinese goods into the United States. The case has to be made, and I think what the Europeans and the multilateralists would advocate, so the veterans of the Clinton administration who actually proposed and pushed for Chinese accession, is that there is indeed a role, but it would require coalition building on the part of the Americans to enroll the Japanese, the South Koreans, the Europeans in a collective front to use the WTO as a leverage mechanism against China. But it would require that kind of coalition building. America has historically always faced the choice of whether it preferred to interact with the world on a bilateral hub and spokes kind of model, or whether it preferred larger, more encompassing multilateral organizations. And American internationalism of the liberal variety favored multilateral complex organizations and effectively sponsored them. But there has always been a pull towards a simpler, more bilateral approach in which America believes that it can use its weight to extract concessions one-on-one from a weaker partner, from a weaker bargaining counterpart.